Hey there my lovelies, and welcome to my booktube channel, The Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today I'm going to do a book tag, or to be even more precise, I'm going to do the Newbie BookTube Tag. I was actually kind of surprised I never did that one, because I've been on BookTube for I think 3 months already and never even thought about doing that tag until I saw it from another YouTuber. So, well, I'm always a snail and I'm always very late with such things, and I think we can all agree that this is actually pretty normal timing for my standards. So, well, I've been on BookTube for 3 months already, but I'm going to do this now because it sounds like fun and it are pretty interesting questions, and I figured, why not? So apparently this is some sort of ride every booktuber has to go through, and better late than never, right? So without further ado, I'm going to look at the first question, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. I'm not entirely sure if I will be able to answer all of those questions, but well, I try my best. So here goes nothing. And the first question is, why did you start this channel? Oof, you're not going easy on me, right? That's such a loaded question already for the first question. But okay, why did I start this channel? I think there's actually a story behind this. When I was celebrating my birthday with my sister and my brother-in-law, we spoke about YouTube channels and how awesome it is that people share their enthusiasm and their knowledge about things that are important to them. So we spoke about a lot of tutorials you see on YouTube and how they teach you to do certain things like knitting or I don't know. And then we thought about what we could do to be a part of YouTube, or what we could, I don't know, contribute to YouTube. And I was like, oh, the only thing I can talk about is books. I have no other talent than that. And for some reason my sister and my brother-in-law immediately caught up to this idea, and they were like, yeah, why don't you start a booktube channel and why don't you go for it? And I was like, oh, well, actually a lot of people ask me if I have a booktube channel and I always say no. And to be honest, I was a little bit afraid of the commitment, because I mean, to do those videos, to prepare those videos, that's a lot of work actually. I mean, you have to do the video, you have to come up with an idea, and then you have to cut the video. So there's a lot of work behind this, and at first I didn't want to start one because I was afraid of all that work, but in the end I decided to go for it because my sister and my brother-in-law were so enthusiastic about it. And I thought, why not? So, well, that's basically the reason why I started this channel, to inform people about the books I love, to give them the means to look those books up, to do their own research or to read those books, and maybe to discover that they actually love them as well. So I think that was the main reason why I started this channel. The next question is question 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Phew. That's another loaded question if you ask me. I don't know. I think I might try to do 1 or 2 or even more original book tags, and I'll do some videos like I already did with my top 5 book covers, and maybe I'll do other ideas. I don't know, I'm so new on BookTube. I'll just have to discover what I can do and what is possible, and then I just go for it and try to do my best to make this an interesting channel. I hope that so far I'm succeeding at that, but I'm not all too convinced I actually do. So, well, we'll see what fun and unique things I can bring on here, but I'll definitely give my best, or like P.P.S would say, fighting. Question number 3. What are you most excited for about this new channel? Well, I think I'm the most excited about finding new booktubers and about discovering other channels. And of course, I'm super excited about talking books with you all, because that's something I don't have in real life all too much. I mean, in my family, I'm basically the only one who's really reading a lot of books. And I don't know, that was basically also the reason why I joined Goodreads in the first place, because in real life I had no one who would talk books with me except of my besties. And one of my besties is totally into reading and loves to talk books with me, and she might also watch this right now, so hey there. And she's very supportive of me and my BookTube channel and everything that has to do with books. And my other bestie is more like a mood reader. She doesn't always read books, but when she starts to read books, she'll be like, I don't know, she'll read 2 or 3 months, loads of books, and then she will make a pause for 1 or 2 months, and then she will start all over again. So yes, I think to speak about books and to exchange opinions and thoughts and ideas about books is something that gets me very, very excited about BookTube. Let's go to the next question. Question number 4. Why do you love reading? Another loaded question. Why do I love reading? Because it's some sort of escape for me. I don't know about you, but especially the last year, books were some sort of escape for me. They took me out of the stress and uncertainty of the real world and put me in another place and time, and sometimes even another universe or world. And it's some sort of escapism, if you ask me. I love to read books and to discover new worlds and to feel with the characters. I always say a good book, for me personally, is a book that makes me feel all the feels. And I think that's very important for me. I like a nice word building as well, but the characters and the way they move me is so important for me. So I like a lot of character-driven books, and that's the reason why I'm reading. I want to discover new worlds, new characters, new people. For me, they are actually people. Because they feel so real when I read those books. So that's something I totally love, that you can get immersed in those universes and worlds and not spend a thought about anything that's going on in the normal world. Yeah, escapism, basically. I could have said it with one word. Anyway, let's jump to the next question. Question number 5. What book or series got you into reading? Oh, that's a fun question actually. I think I don't know where you want to start. I mean, if you want to start with me as a little tiny kid, can you imagine me as a little tiny kid? It all started with Thomas Brezina books and with his Knickerbockerbande. I don't know if any of you ever heard about him. He's an Austrian author and he wrote a lot of children books like Tom Turbo and the Knickerbockerbande. And those were the first books and the first series I totally paged through and read and wanted to get more of. But I think when it comes to actually getting hooked on reading, I mean, I always read. I never stopped reading from the moment I started to read. And I think the first book that had me totally hooked and that I couldn't put away was V.C. Andrews' Flowers in the Attic. And I think I must have read it when I was 11 or 12. And it was such a fascinating book, very character driven, very, I don't know, a lot of taboos going on in this book. And I just wanted to know how it ends and what would happen next. And of course, at the same time, I read Harry Potter as well. And well, Harry Potter, do I have to say more? Of course, I was hooked to Harry Potter. So yeah, I think it was a mixture of all of those three books. Thomas Brezina got me hooked as a kid, and V.C. Andrews and Harry Potter got me hooked as a teen. So you might say they were all responsible for me to fall in love with books. So let's go to question number 6. What challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Oof. I think coming up with new and interesting content is something I still struggle with, to be honest. To keep people engaged in this channel is quite a challenge, because I always try to make my videos interesting and to, I don't know, engage you while you watch this. But that's really one thing that is pretty tough. And another thing is, I think getting out the word of this channel is also some sort of challenge, because the bookish booktuber community is a tight-knit community as far as I could see, and it's not easy to become a part of it. I'm trying my best, I'm engaging with other booktubers, but it's not so easy to be recognized as a part of the booktube community. Maybe that's just my perception, but it is the way it is. So, well, yes, I think to keep it interesting, to have an interesting content is one of the biggest challenges here, and to get word out of it. Question number 7. When did you start reading? Haha, when did I start reading? I think basically the moment I learned to read. I learned to read when I went to primary school, and from the moment I learned to read, I never stopped reading. I mean, it was such, for me personally, for me as a reader, it was such a revelation to finally be able to read sentences, words. I remember when I was a little kid and I went to primary school and finally learned to read, the first thing I did was to read everything. I would read signs on the streets, I would read newspaper articles, I would read just everything that came into my hands. I was so, I don't know, it was a whole new world. When I started to read, it was a whole new universe and a whole new world, and I was so excited that I could finally understand what was written. So, well, primary school, I would say, because back then Even in primary school, I already borrowed books from the school library, and I borrowed books from the church library. So yes, from the moment I could read, I kept on reading. Question number 8. Where do you read? Well, basically everywhere. But I have a tendency to read on my sofa or in bed, and often, or pretty often, I will read in the train when I'm commuting to work. Because I have a long way to work, I don't know, to go there or to get there already takes 1.5 hours, and to get back from work takes the same amount. So when I'm commuting to work, I'm basically 3 hours a day in a train. And that's a lot of reading time, and a lot of time that is spent usefully by reading. So on my sofa, in my bed, and on the train. 3 places where I usually love to read. And the last question, question number 9. What kind of books do you like to read? Well, you all know that I read a lot of genres. I love the young adult and LGBTQ+ genre. And I also love to read fantasy and science fiction every now and then. I'm not so big on thrillers because I get scared easily. I'm a scaredy fox, I admit it. Yeah, mangas, I don't know, I read a lot of different books, even romances. So I basically dabble in every kind of genre, but I think the genres I read the most are the young adult genre, fantasy, and LGBTQ+. So those are 3 genres I read a lot of books in. So that was my Newbie BookTube tag, and I hope you enjoyed it. I guess this might turn out to be a pretty long video, so I'm already sorry for that. Well, there's nothing else left to say except of that I'll write the questions in the description of the video, because that's one of the things I noticed when I wanted to do this tag, that almost no one writes those questions down. So you'll find those questions down in the description of the video if you want to do this tag as well. And I hope you enjoyed this tag, and to get a little bit of insight into my reading habits and journey and why I started to create this channel. And well, there's nothing else to say except of stay healthy and safe, take care, and see you around the next time. You get a finger heart from me, and bye!